Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. So, today I'm going to report about the introduction to the profession of transportation, importance of transportation, transportation history, and lastly, transportation employment. First, let me introduce myself. Hi, everyone. My name is Daisy Reyes. I'm BSc 4, and I'm today's first reporter for this subject. So, let me start for the introduction to the profession of transportation. Transportation is a broad field that includes job titles ranging from aircraft pilot to yard master. Whether it's planning travel, moving materials, or transporting people or goods, there are many different roles available for those interested in working in the transportation sector. Graduating with a degree in transportation and logistics will leave you with no shortage of career path. Not only are logistic utilized by a wide variety of institutions, the transportation and logistic industry is made up of many different parts that perform very different functions. So, the efficient movement of people and freight is a vital element of a state's current economic well-being and its further development. A coordinated effort needs to be made by state and local agencies in order to ensure that all parts of the transportation system are maintained in good condition. Each part of the overall transportation system must be integrated with the other parts. Each part of the system is important in that it provides accessibility and mobility to meet personal travel requirements or the need to transport various types of freight. So it's just for this topic, it gives us hints about the different. I mean, if nagaplan ka mag-work sa transportation sector, so na mo ni yung these are the naghatag. So mas makabalo pa ta more what are the different types of transformation in the next three topics. So next is the importance of transportation. Transportation and moving objects to new locations cannot be separated. That's due to the fact that moving products is essentially unachievable without using some sort of transport. These days, the world is dependent upon the modes of transport for its everyday business. Industries strongly rely on them to accomplish their tasks and objectives. There are actually various modes of transportation that assist men and women in their day-to-day lives. These vehicles and transport infrastructure have made present-day life easier, more hassle-free, and more efficient. Yes, I agree with this. Transportation is very essential to our day-to-day life. So, kana mo ato tag eskwelahan, um, ato ta sa work. Transportation is one of the most important para makaadto ta sa atong location, not only physically pero also sa mga goods. So next, I'll give you some of the important other different types of transportation. Let's start for the air transportation. So air transportation considered to be the fastest means to carry and transport products across the world. Air transport is extremely effective and ideal, specifically for those people whose deliveries need to show up their destination the soonest time possible. Same-day or rush delivery services commonly employ air transportation. It may well be somewhat hefty when it comes to cost, yet air transport is simply and speedy. Keep in mind that with air transportation, cargo goes immediately to the point of destination. So I guess for air transportation, marag na sila limited lang ilahang weight capacity na ilahang gina-accept for cargo. So, I guess, usually ginagamit ka ng mga paper lang, ng mga documents. Usually, air jud na siya, transportation. Basta ka ng mga gaan lang mo na ano. So, let's move to the sea transportation, sorry. So, big sea-going fighters can easily carry bulk orders. These vessels have huge holds, permitting them to stash and deliver a large volume of freight. They play an important function on global business. Excuse me. They are also most cost-effective than air transport but are pretty slow with regards to the velocity. Folks choose to ship very heavy objects by means of sea freight since cargo aircraft ordinarily have a limited carrying capability. These vessels have huge hold, permitting them to no, they are most cost effective than air transport but are pretty slow with regards to velocity. Folks choose to ship heavy objects by means of ordinarily have a limited carry capability. Sea freight is generally the mode of transportation preferred by a lot of business. On top of that, shipping organizations frequently supply intermodal containers for shipments which ensure extra security and safety of these items. So, one of the example na kung man is like mga balikbayan box. So, that really takes a lot of time bago mag-arrive. So, mga nasa 3 to 5 months bago mag-abot ang cargo since that is a sea transportation. So, yan mo. Ang mga difference nila sa air, ang air dali lang. Pero, ang imura pong mapadala na mga items is limited lang. Di po siya nag-accept po ka ng bulk orders. I mean, bulk items to be shipped. Siguro kaya dili makaya sa ano. So, pero dali lang siya maabot. Unlike sa cargo, daghan kag mapadala pero it takes really dugay kay siya maabot. So, land transportation definitely involves the usage of automobiles, lorries, vans, and even bikes. This is among the most convenient ways to transport, especially if perishable items are intended to be moved. Those are wonderful options for near places. Land transportation is often flexible and entails cheaper charges than sea or air transport. But in the end, the modes of transportation to be utilized depends on the destination of the shipment. Full export packing service includes land transportation and for other global destination, other varieties of delivery modes. So, land transportation is within the country, like country only. Mostly kanang mga kanang NBC, JNT, and we all know, especially now, we are experiencing pandemic and we are not allowed to go outside to buy our needs and goods. So, isa sa pinaka one of useful is this land transportation. Yes. So, let's move to the transportation history. So, this topic give us some histories about the transportation. So let me read this. Excuse me. Transportation history focuses on the technological innovation and their impacts on mobility, the economy and society, and the three keys transport innovation took place before the Industrial Revolution: the mastery of wind power in the river and maritime transport, the employment of animal power for land transport, and the invention of the wheel. The increase of speed and capacity of passenger and freight transport not only influenced trade and production patterns, but was also crucial to immigration and empire building. The Industrial Revolution brought steam power, the internal combustion engine, and electric power as technologies supporting the development of transportation systems such as maritime shipping, railways, highways, and then air transportation. The history of transportation begins from the human era and continued to change over a period of time. The first means of transportation was the human foot. People used to walk large distances to reach places. The first improvement made to this kind of transportation was adapting to different surfaces. For example, people living in areas with snow and ice wore spike-like attachments so that they didn't slip on the ground. Around 3500 BC, the first wheeled vehicles were used. Because of the discovery of wheel and axle or other smaller devices like wheelbarrows come into use, existing means of transportation were continuously improved thereafter. For example, the use of iron horseshoes became a common practice. Clubbing different modes of transportation was then a possibility. From there, the progress related to the transportation started gaining large momentum. Submarines come into existence around 1620, and in the 1660s, properly functioning modes of public transportation were available. Carriages, steamboats, cycles, and even hot air balloons became functioning vehicles which were used on a large scale. The first gas engine vehicle was made by Jean Lenoir in the year 1862, and after this, in the year 1867, the first motorcycle was invented. Finally, in the year 1903, the Wright brothers designed the first manned aeroplane with an engine. In the year 1962, the first liquid-propelled rocket was launched successfully. Other vehicles like the helicopter, jets, and hovercrafts came after this. Existing means of transport were continuously being improved upon. The steam engines lead to the invention of bullet trains. The manned flight created by the Wright brothers led to a jumbo jet. From traveling on foot, we have came a long way, and different means of traveling have to lead to a vast network. So that are some of the histories, some of the vehicles being invented, and that is some of the history of transportation. So let's move to the transportation employment. Transportation career includes jobs in industries that transport passengers and cargo via plane, rail, bus, boat, transit system, and other modes of private and public transportation. So transportation and material moving sector also includes position that supports the industry. For example, travel and tour agencies that do transportation and logistics staff that coordinate transportation are part of the transportation industry. So there are many different jobs option if you're interested in working at an airport. So just getting started on a job search in the transportation, it can help to familiarize yourself with common transportation occupations and job titles. You might also use this list to encourage your employer to change your job title to fit your responsibilities. Bus driver, I mean truck driver, transport goods from one place to another. Often they move products from a manufacturing plant to retail or distribution center. They need to have a mechanical knowledge and be able to maneuver their vehicle. So, ang mga truck driver, usually makita nato ni sila sa mga malls and small grocery businesses. So, naghatod sila og mga goods, tapos ginasell nila in lower prices para mabaligya sa store into a retail price. So, next is bus driver. Bus driver might work for a school system, private client, or the public. They are in charge of following a given route, picking up and dropping off clients, and arriving at places at a given time. Unlike truck drivers, bus drivers regularly interact with passengers, so they need strong customer service skills. So, ang mga bus drivers, ang ilahang, na sila gina-assign na isa lang gid ilang route. For example, school, tapos sa field trip, school bus ang ganung gigamit, tapos sa field trip. So, dito lang din dapat siya na route mo. Tuwa na siya magkapit-hapit. And, syempre, dapat hag po ang driver. Nag-interact po siya sa iyang mga passengers para dili na usually long ride man. So, para di po mabore ang travel. So, next is material mover. Material mover and hand laborers move materials such as freight of stocks. They might retrieve or unload trucks carrying materials. They may pack or wrap products as well, or even clean transportation equipment. While there are typically no formal education requirements, material movers often receive some training and need physical stamina and strength. So, it says all right here na sila ang nag-move sa mga big mga materials na usually ka ng mga cargo. So, nasa na ginagamit na katong equipment para makabuhat og mga bigger na mga loads, weight kanang dagko jud kayo ng mga items. So mo ni ilang trabaho, material mover may tawag sa ila. And next is taxi drivers. Taxi drivers transport people to transport people to and from their destinations. So they have to be good drivers and know their way around the area in which they are driving. They often have to go through some form of training, but there are rarely education requirements. Taxi drivers require strong customer service skills. So, like sa bus driver, ang taxi driver, dapat natin siya knowledge in knowing halos tanan jud na places kaya ang customer mag-demand jud, door to door jud imong pagatudan na sa ila ha. And syempre like bus driver, apat hawd pug ka mura poor, tapos maki-interact pug ka sa imong customer para naman di pud babagot. Isa ra ka mura pud ang duha sa car. So next is distribution or warehousing operation. Most cargo transportation depends upon the seamless operation of large distribution centers and warehouses. These busy hubs requires both white and blue-collar workers to ensure that freight is handled within established transportation schedule. So, yes, distribution or warehousing operation. So, muna sila ang mga kanang cargo transportation. Muna silang nagakuha or naghatod. And next is traffic, transportation, and travel logistics. Traffic and transportation logistics analyst and related personnel coordinate all details of the transportation of people or of cargo between their points of departure and destination. And water transportation worker perform a variety of tasks. They operate and or maintain vessels that transport people or cargo across bodies of water. There are many specific job titles within the broader category of water transportation worker, including merchant mariner, captain, mate, pilot, sailor, ship engineer, marine, oiler, and more. So, muna ang mga common na-mention na ang mga common na mga workers, patungkol sa mga seaman, seafarers, mga ship engineer, sailor. So, muna sila. And lastly is the air transportation workers. This industry employs aircraft mechanics and service technicians, pilots and flight engineers, cargo and freight agents, reservation and transportation ticket agents, and travel clerks. So, it's sabotable naman ang mga air transportation workers like, example, kanang mga pilot, kanang mga everyone na nag-work sa mga airplane. So, that are there. So, that would be all. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.